Representatives. She led the fight on groundbreaking legislation, creating the first Immigration Legal Defense Fund and the diverse K-12 workforce report. A continuación tenemos a la representante Naquetta Ricks. La representante Naquetta Ricks es la primera inmigrante en ser elegida para la legislatura de Colorado y la primera estadounidense de Liberia en ser elegida para cualquier legislatura estatal. Como mujer negra, líder en negocios políticos, trabaja incansablemente para mejorar su comunidad, ayudando a desarrollar conocimientos económicos y defendiendo los derechos de los inmigrantes y refugiados. En su primera sesión en la Cámara de Representantes de Colorado, lideró la lucha por una legislación innovadora, incluida la creación del Fondo de Defensa Legal de Inmigración y el informe de la Fuerza Laboral Diversa K-12.
Thank you so much. It's my pleasure to be here. Thank you to the organizers of this March for Immigration. I appreciate the welcome here today. Everyone, my name is Representative Naquetta Ricks, and I want to thank you for choosing to spend your Saturday, on this Saturday to march for citizenship with us. I'm a refugee, a United States citizen, and a legislator in the Colorado House of Representatives. I'm speaking to you today because my story should not be unique. Immigrants, refugees, and asylees need access to citizenship now. And the U.S. needs to do more to have more of us in positions of power. Let me tell you a little bit about myself. But before I do so, I'm going to offer a trigger warning that I will be discussing extreme violence. You see, I came to Colorado in 1980, fleeing a violent military coup in my native country, Liberia. I was 13 at the time, and at that time, the soldiers came to our house looking for my mother's fiance, who was a government official. The soldiers held my mother at gunpoint for over 2 hours as my sister and I watched, not knowing if she was going to survive. By the grace of God, the soldiers let her go. And just a few days later, they rounded up 13 ministers of the government, and they shot them by firing squad on a beach in the capital city. My family knew that the soldiers were going to come back. They were going to come back for us, and we grabbed quickly one suitcase of peats, what we could grab, and got out of the house and went to live with a relative in the city. My sister and my mom and I ended up in Aurora, Colorado, where I still live today and where I represent. I've been able to raise my daughter, have my own business, and now I get to serve Coloradoans to make sure that more people like me have access to opportunity, safety, health, and dignity. Thank you. Immigrants, refugees, and asylees are fundamental to the fabric and identity of Colorado, and our existence deserves not just recognition but respect. Over the last few decades, it's been extremely painful and disheartening to see how America has turned its back on refugees and asylees. It's been 35 years since the federal government offered a path to citizenship. That path, the 1986 Immigration Reform Act, was how I got my citizenship. And I became a naturalized citizen through that bill. I am the living proof of what citizenship allows immigrants to achieve. And as we need Congress and the Biden administration to live up to its promise to enact meaningful immigration reform. The photos of the Haitian immigrants being whipped and turned away at the border sickens me to my core, as does the knowledge that thousands of Afghans remain in danger abroad. No one chooses to come to America on foot, traversing hundreds, if not thousands of miles and navigating extreme environmental hazards just to live in America's ideal. America presents a land of opportunity, equality, and justice. And yet, our federal government chooses to meet migrants with force rather than social workers, healthcare professionals, and legal aid. We demand better and we deserve more. First of all, we must immediately end the deportation of the Haitians and expedite all asylum and visa applications for Afghans arriving in the U.S. We also demand the immediate revocation of Title 42, which prevents asylum seekers from making their asylum claims. We demand the immediate end to the metering system used to process asylum seekers at the U.S.-Mexico border. It disproportionately impacts Black migrants and has resulted in Black asylum seekers waiting in Mexico for years waiting to cross the border. We demand the United States to honor international law, which forbids a country receiving asylum seekers from sending asylees back to the country that they are fleeing from. Finally, President Biden and Secretary Mayorkas must grant immediate humanitarian parole to all Black asylum seekers at the border and allow them to process their asylum claims at the U.S. side of the border. The United States has a responsibility to formally recognize undocumented immigrants as the Americans are. The people of this country are with us. The Democratic leadership is with us. Now, we are demanding that Congress finds a way to keep their promise to provide a pathway to citizenship for more than 11 million undocumented immigrants in this country. Today, we're calling on Congress to ensure that a pathway to citizenship be included in the budget reconciliation bill, and it must be passed. Finally, I just want to thank you for marching with us today. And thank you to the immigrants of Colorado for your resiliency, your bravery, your contributions to the country. I'm proud to be your representative, and I will continue to fight to make sure that the United States is a home for all of us. Thank you.